Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm Cynthia Conte for the best women's boxing show, period. Unfortunately, my co-host, Giandra, is not able to join. I got a great guest coming up. You know what? I have to admit, when I was researching this lady, I've taken lots of notes on people, but this one I think has taken the cake. I have done 4 full pages of notes on this lady. She's fighting and defending this Saturday, Bare Knuckle Fighting champion at the strawweight. She's the strawweight world champion. My God, Britain Hart, welcome to the show.
Hey, oh my gosh, that was an amazing intro. Thank you for that. But yes, 115 for the strawweight, and this will be my third belt in that division for BKFC. So it means a little more than I think people realize. So I'm interested to see what your notes are. And if you kind of get that that aspect of it. Oh yeah. That's definitely, that seems right up my alley. That's the Britain Hart story for sure.
Are you at the airport right now?
I actually am in Colorado because BKFC is doing a huge event this Friday. So I got the chance and the opportunity. I'm definitely one of those people that, I try not to let any opportunity go by. And, I've never been to Colorado, and I hear it's really great with that training at
High
altitude.
altitude.
Yeah. So I'm just like, hey, let's say that I have no regrets going forward in this fight camp for sure.
For people who don't know her, she actually started as a pro boxer, and you didn't even start boxing not too long ago. And the whole reason why, and we're going to touch up on this because Giandra and I, my co-host, unfortunately, you don't get to meet her today, but soon, eventually you will. We always touch about our show is called Best Women's Boxing Show, period. Yes, it's an audacious name because we are literally 2 women in boxing, and we don't just interview female boxers, female combat sports. We feature everyone. But the one thing we love to highlight is about their life, their past, and why they're there, your trials and tribulations, and also mental health. And based off of your story, you've covered all those grounds, but this is why you're here. And this is what I love about it. At the very beginning, people say, oh, I know Britain Hart. She's the one that beat Paige VanZant. I watched all of your tape last night. I saw just even the very first Beck Rawlings fight to where you are now. Talk about your fundamentals, very different. Everything about you're technically sound, your power, you're ferocious. You're a little mini beast. But boxing, why did you even decide to start boxing, and what year?
So I actually didn't put on boxing gloves, like not even for fun, until 2016. And I was in that boxing gym 4 months before I turned pro. But the reason why I was there, I was in a very abusive relationship, and being put around negative people and abusive people like that, it kind of comes with this like snowball effect. And that's what I found myself in. And it's very easy for me to like relate with people that sit there and be like, well, it wasn't my fault, it doesn't this, but it's the fact of me just being around it. And I didn't learn that at such a young age. So I definitely learned the hard way. But with that came, just the severe consequences of basically being rock bottom. I've gone through it all. Like you said, it's any type of subject we can cover. I've been through it. I've definitely slept out of my car to get where we are. I've been in this system. I've lost everything that I worked really hard for. And it's not, I wasn't educated. I have 3 degrees. It was literally just the consequence of one bad choice. And then being with with an abusive partner, it come with all this mental health things and the PTSD, and then it changes you. And that was my thing that brought me to boxing and fighting, is I lost who I was. I lost my identity. And in boxing, it was like, that's why you see me so happy and energetic now, because I was a sad person. And when I walked out in those lights, I was like, oh my God, this is why all this, like, it's hard to believe, but this is why all these bad things happen. It was to bring me here, because without that, I would definitely wouldn't have boxed. I mean, it was seriously that soul sad, horrible time that put me in the first time I've ever wore boxing gloves in 2016. That's really, it wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, what, 2023, and you're also a mother, correct?
Yes, I have 2 awesome kids. They're growing up like crazy. They're 13 and 9. So I've gone through that too.
So imagine, I'm a mother also, and Giandra's also a mother, and it's hard being a female athlete in general and being a young mother and to deal with all the things. all the adversities that you've had to go through, but that was honestly your journey. I hate to say it. There's reasons why you make decisions in life is because it's supposed to put you on the right path where you need to go. You're going to have to go through hell and back to get to where you need to be. And you're living proof of it.
Exactly. And, I go and I pay it forward on all the, I've had a lot of people help me to this point too. But, I go to these like Boys and Girls Club. I still go to the same, hood street spots that I did back when it was really bad. But I'm going back with this belt and saying, look, you guys, like so many times we get trapped up down. We're never going to be better than what is. We're never going to be out of this situation. And it might not even be something as tragic and dark as mine. It could be like, oh, I'm never going to be anything but a mom. I'm never going to be anything but a secretary. I'm never going to be anything but, following my dad's law firm footsteps. I mean, whatever that might look like for somebody, it helps to be someone like me that's like, wow, I had this, and that, and still didn't go down that path. Like life really gives you the journey, and you just gotta let it be. And you wake up knowing you did your best every day. That's all we really can ask for. But you can also make yourself something and know that you're worth it, and like go and try something you've been scared to do before. And my kid, a lot of people say, and think whatever assumptions they want, but at the end of the day, both my children are so proud of me. It's amazing to see their support. And, they knew that when we work in, when we serve the military and go overseas, sometimes it requires the sacrifice of leaving your children and family for a couple years. And so it's nobody's place to judge anyone or know what their journey was, but to see what the outcome is. And an outcome tells you a lot.
It is tough, but you've had one hell of a journey. You mentioned, when people say, oh, well, if you choose that kind of life, it's because you're not educated. Wrong. I'm going to brag about you a little bit. You have a bachelor's degree in sports management from Lynchburg College. You have a master's in physical education from Old Dominican University. You're pretty smart. I mean, there's just choices you make that it just happens. Why didn't you do anything with that and go maybe, I don't know, a physical therapist, or go more into that field as opposed to being the one worked on by a therapist?
So actually, I worked for the Carolina Panthers for 5 years, and I loved them. They were amazing. It was an amazing organization. I'm telling you, one of the best companies or organizations I've worked for. But in that time frame, that's when I was going through a lot of like the hidden secret stuff. And it was kind of like, it was easy for me to put my happy face on work and love that, and then go home and be just like a totally different person. But in that aspect, I was working there, and that's when all this stuff kind of happened. And I got that Beck Rawlings fight. The Beck Rawlings fight was the first bare knuckle fight I ever did in 2000. Well, it was still 2018, so I was still kind of going through some things. And that's why when I was like, oh no, this is what I want to do, I told him, I was like, hey, I gotta go. I'm gonna go and really put all my stuff into it. And so I quit working at the Panthers to do the Beck Rawlings fight. But it was the same thing. I think, I was part-time working at the stadium. But
you weren't even a full-time athlete.
Yeah, I know. It was wild. It was so, I don't know. It was so many things. I mean, I guess some things never changed. Now that I look at it, I'm like, wow. It's in perspective for me. I'm like, I've always been doing the most. Like maybe that's my thing. I've just always been doing a lot. But I love the field. I love the career. But it was such bad timing. I think when I graduated, I had just met my ex-husband, and I was trying to juggle that life, my kid's life, the working life, and the boxing came in 2016. So it's just a blur. It's a blur how it happened, that's for sure. But I'm here now.
You've some of the names that come to mind when I was looking at the boxers, because your record, it was wild, because I was telling the PR agent, Bernie, I go, I've never researched a fighter with the record that had boxing, BKFC boxing. It was like all in, I mean, it was wild. So your record for BKFC is 4-3 with 2 knockouts, but your overall combat sports is 4-4 and 3 draws. I literally had to keep pulling up your record to go to your fights to see where you were advancing. And clearly I could see just by the way you were fighting, in the squared circle and in the boxing ring, totally different. I could see your growth. You had Metcalf, you fought Jamie Mitchell, former world champion. She was on I think that was on the Alycia Baumgardner card. So you fought on some cards that a lot of people know of, but you were on the undercard. And now you get this chance, even to this day, even though you have Amanda Serrano making the biggest payday, you have Katie Taylor, you have big women fights, but also we're still pushing for females to get bigger and better paydays and better fights. You decided, you know what? I got a really great opportunity with Bare Knuckle. David Feldman, the CEO, great guy, loved this concept. I interviewed him during COVID, learned what toe the line is and what exactly is on your hands. Really nothing. I'm just curious. You boxed with gloves on and now you're bare knuckle. Why did you do that? Do you like the pain in your face?
I don't. I really don't, which is why I've gotten better. That's why I've given my life and why I've sacrificed to the growth, because I don't like it. I went to it to get away from it, but that's what gives me, all these weaknesses and the things we talked about before. That's become my strength and superpower, because before I started boxing with gloves on, I was punched in the face all the time with bare fists. Super unfortunate and sad, but if you've never been punched by a bare fist, it's scary. But if you've gone through it, it's a bit of a numbing experience for sure. So when I went and got the gloves on, I was like, oh, this is awesome. This is a vacation. 2 minutes and there's someone to save you and there's pillows on someone's hands. Like, it wasn't no problem. So I really tried my best in boxing. You're right. I did do 4, 4, and 3, which those draws let you know I really won, but I was in their backyard. But I was just determined. I had so many bad things happen to me in that time frame, the 2016, 2017 year. I was like, I don't care. It was so sad, and I definitely went through some serious abuse in boxing too. Like, I took fights for $500, $1,000 against freaking Alycia Baumgardner. I fought, let's put that out there. I fought Alycia Baumgardner for under $1,000.
You did? What year was this?
I think it was 2017, because I was determined I knew who I was. I knew that I could take my ex-husband, who was 185 pounds, he never knocked me out. What makes me think a 135 girl can knock me out, or a 125? Or a 115. Like, I have that grit inside me that I can't be hurt. You can't hurt me. You can't hurt me more than I've hurt myself or that somebody else has. And so I go in there with that confidence and that no regrets. But like you said, now I don't want to just go in there and swing for the fences and be tough. I have a master's degree. I'm smarter than that. I want to learn the sport and I want to be somebody in it. I really do. And boxing just wasn't giving me a fair shot. They were dragging me around, giving me these shitty purses, putting me as a journeyman, which at the time I thought was cool, but now I see it's kind of a negative thing in boxing. So when Dave Feldman came to me in 2018, when he first legalized bare knuckle, I was like, no way, I don't want to do this. And then he was like, the money started going up. And I was like,
yeah,
I do. I really need the money, because I want the money so I could go to California. And in California, that's where they'll really care about me. They'll really help me in boxing out there, because no one gives a shit about me on the East Coast. So that was my whole attitude. And, I took the fight. And then I remember when Beck hit me the first time in a bare knuckle fight, I was nervous. I really was. And when she hit me, I swear to God, I remember thinking, that's not, I've hit by way worse. Like, it was like a calming, oh yeah, this is not that bad. Yeah. So I go on the fight, I get the money, I go out to California, and it was just like I said, manifest it and speak it into existence. California, they love me so much. They gave me a home that I always needed, the family that I needed. Coach Haas was really a hero to me. I won that Paige VanZant fight, and my whole life turned around. And I know people are like, well, why aren't you in California now? And it's one of those things, Coach Haas gave me that blessing and permission. Hey, you gotta, just like you took the risk coming out here take the risks on these other things. And that's what I've been doing in this last few little years. I know people have seen me in like Guatemala and Colombia and all this crazy stuff, but that's because I really think my journey is bigger than East Coast, West Coast. And so I try to like, now I'm manifesting a new dream. Like, no, I'm going to be known worldwide as something super positive and great. And now I'm looking at it, I'm like, I don't think Bare Knuckle is giving me the recognition, but you know, they do. But you know, I'm growing in that aspect. Like, now it's gotta like people gotta share these stories and motivational speaking and or something like that, you know, and not these, you know, last minute. And then, you know, at the end of the day, let's be real. This will be my 11th bare knuckle fight, and no other girl really besides Christine Ferrer has come close to that. There's none. Like, it's me and her, and that's it. And you know, she did the same thing. She's in the 125. It's just she walks around a lot heavier. But you know, when I'm walking around like right now, I weigh 119, and I had mac and cheese and apple cobbler last night. So it's one of those things too. I'm not scared of anybody. But, you know, it's a sport at the end of the day, and we got to judge it and know and be realistic on the weight classes and being smarter to not get caught up in the wrong weight class.
To get the Paige VanZant fight, you didn't have 10 fights under your belt of bare knuckle. You didn't even have 10 fights in all combat sports. But it was the Pearl Gonzalez. That was a fiery fight, even just from the beginning. For some reason, your weigh-ins are very feisty. I mean, it's fun. You know, I love it when women bring it, sell your fight, even if, I really believe you guys did not care for each other.
So let me tell you, it's so funny because I'm really a nice person. I'm a super nice, down-to-earth person. But I have been authentic and real in all those fights. So it's so funny. I don't even need to sell it because these girls will just, you know, we're all friends, and then they'll say something. I'm like, oh, what? No, you didn't. And it turns it really authentic real quick. But that's why I tell people the best chance you have of beating me is being like, oh, Britain, she's great. I'm gonna be like, oh, I don't want to, you know. But the minute you say something like, oh, our jab, I'm like, I'm going to crack you in the face as hard as I can with a jab. So it's funny to see that personality come out.
You got a good one. Yeah, it was Christine Faria that was on the call, and she was like, one of these girls is going to have to fight. And I remember nothing was really happening in the first round. And then finally it got really heated. Like you were bloody. I remember that she caught you. I think your nose was broken. You had a cut under your left eye. And then another fight, you had a swollen left eye. It was like pretty much shut. No, not you. It was another, I don't know. You were hitting pretty damn hard. But a lot of your fights, you're bloody, but you have never been knocked down. What's so interesting, you know, for people that don't know bare knuckle, you box, it's a stand-up game, but you can also clinch, and you have a very good inside game. Like Christine and even Paige said, they need to get out of your clinch because you just freaking go to the body. And that's where the fundamentals that I've seen that you've learned was to more go to the body, because they always say once you hit that body, the head falls. And you're nasty. You are nasty. You bring out the dog when you need to. You brought out the adversity. You were able to be victorious in the rematch against Bec Rawlings, Paige VanZant. It was that was your career defining fight. And it was such an amazing fight that the fight before that, when you won, Paige was on the call and you called her out. You're like, you're fucking next. Am I right? Yeah. What made you do that?
You know what? It was funny. Someone told me, like, all right, when you win, go call her out. And I was like, okay, cool. And it was, all right. So the real story is really that they're like, because, you know, I care about what people think, and, you know, with kids and stuff like that. And I try to be like the best version of myself, but they're like, yeah, you go tell her that she's fucking next and you're going to whoop her ass and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, God, do I have to say fucking? They're like, yeah, say fuck. And I was like, and they said, what do you want to say to Paige VanZant? And I'm like, come on, Britt. You're a boss. Just say it. Just say it. And it's probably the only time in my life I kept it short, sweet, and to the point. And that's why I was like, I kept telling myself in that, I was just like, keep it short. Keep it just say it. And so when I came out with that line, it was just so like effortless. It was already what I was telling myself. Like, yeah, I'm just going to keep it to the point, and you're fucking next. It was nice. And then when she came in the ring, it was like, I don't know what to do. Like, you know, it was a lot. You know, you got to think, for me, I think people are rather harsh on me back then. I think that people are really starting to respect and see it now. But, you got to think I've only been doing this since 2016. It's like, could you imagine if you were riding a bike for the first time and you fell off and got scraped up and they're like, hey, tell us what you think of recycling. It's like, no matter what it is, it's like, wow, I don't fucking know right now. Like I'm dealing with like, I have a
Yeah.
little cut on my cheek.
You have all this adrenaline. You just were busy punching for 5 rounds, 2 minutes,
Yeah.
and I get it.
And I don't have nothing, I have no, it's funny that they bring up people try to stir the pot with the OnlyFans girls with me a lot, but it's like, I really don't have any ill will or bad things to say towards them. I really don't. And I don't mean it. I think people, have gotten the wrong idea, but, for me, I think interpretation is a lot. And so if they interpret that, I just read it, and then it just happens to roll with it. And then after, I think like an awesome person I want to bring up is Ty Emery. Me and her had words online and on the internet where we were barking at each other. And
is she the one that pulled her top?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't even care about it. I really didn't. But everyone's like, "What do you think? What do you think? What do you think?" And I'm like, "Well, you asked me my opinion. I'm going to give it to you." And maybe it wasn't exactly what people want to hear, but at the end of the day, I don't care. Congratulations on your fight. So she was a bit mad at me. And then I remember being like, look, I hit her up and I was like, I think it's badass. You're an electrician. What a cool job. Like, cool that you do that. Yeah. But I just got hired on. I'm an electrician too. So, let's share that in common instead of our differences. Our friendship has really blossomed over that, hearing something about her that's different outside of the fight world and having that common ground and growing. So anyways, she's a super awesome girl. We never can judge a book by a cover or anything like that, but just know sometimes we are human and we do that just because we're kind of forced to in this world and this media and this social influence and everybody asking your opinions. And I'm still learning every day. And just like you said, with me evolving in the boxing, I'm going to evolve in this PR stuff and in this commentating and the podcasting as well.
Do you plan on staying? If someone says, I want you to come back into boxing, we have a match for you. Hey, it's still not. Would you consider, or you strictly now bare knuckle?
No, absolutely. I've been waiting. I was wanting boxing to respect me years ago. I wouldn't leave bare knuckle unless they pay me more. That's sorry. You lost an awesome person, I must say. But bare knuckle, is where I'm at right now. But honestly, it's not even that I want to leave bare knuckle because I do love it and it's definitely the sport for me. But it kind of goes back to like finishing what we started. Started in boxing. I said that I loved it. It was my why. And then I wanted them to respect me and I won a belt in boxing. So if I could get a belt in boxing, like 7 of the people I've fought in boxing and beat have belts, why can't I go to boxing and get a belt? I really want that. So that's still like a life career goal of mine.
Would you ever consider doing more MMA like UFC or PFL and learning a different skill like jiu-jitsu, grappling, or?
I keep it on the DL, but I've been doing BJJ for 2 years, judo for 1, wrestling for 3.
What? Really? So you're becoming an all-around fighter.
Yes, I know. And I can't wait. I'm waiting for the right time because for me in MMA, again, I've kept a lot of things a little bit, being a public figure and some of the things, the drama, I don't need in my life, but I've had some bad things in the last year kind of happen to me too that I had to adjust. So MMA is one of those things I want to wait for the perfect timing. Boxing it saved me. Seriously, boxing saved my life 100. Bare knuckle is the game changer, life changer. And then I want MMA to be something I just did right. Something I did because I wanted to. Something because, oh my God, Britain, for once in your life, you had all the pieces together. Because in boxing and in bare knuckle, Lord knows I do not have all the pieces together. I'm glad I make it look good on social media and in the ring, but trust me, guys, I'm still making it and struggling to stay at the top of that mountain every day.
Now, if Paige VanZant ever comes back to you and said, I'd like a rematch, what would you say?
I just say, like everything you learn in politics and boxing, pay me for it. I don't mind. I know. I give everybody that. We're in a business. If she wants it, I'm not scared from anyone. A lot of people are like, oh no, unless a rematch is only warranted if it was a close fight. But that's just people making excuses and stuff like that. There's not many of us women, so it would be kind of a dumb thing for me to say. I think that she should pay me twice as much for the rematch for what we did the first time, and I'm good with it. And I'd like to see her improvement too. She's not a bad fighter. She's not a bad person. And she wants the rematch. Sure.
I think, you know what, I would like to see you guys run it back for the sheer fact, because yes, she's a UFC veteran, but I want to see if she's gotten any better, and then maybe run it back, give her a couple more fights, and really embrace the sport to understand being hit in the face with a bare knuckle and see how she would do. But hey, that's just me. But I thought it was a great fight. I love what she said to you. She's like, be humble. What else did you guys say when you guys hugged it out?
I said, thank you for this opportunity. Like, thank you for doing it. Like, I mean, it sucks. Like, I feel bad for her on that spectrum. I know she probably doesn't want to hear this, but it's like, she changed my life, and it maybe wasn't the way she wanted to. But if I didn't get the opportunity to fight her, who knows where I mean, I would have made it anyways because I was determined. But she really helped. She really helped. I told her that when I hugged her. I said, I know it's hard because you lost, and this was a big moment and a lot of pressure for you, but you changed my life. Really, thank you for this moment. I told her that in the locker room too, when she was getting stitched up. And if she ever needed a friend, I'm there. And, life goes on, so. And I love what she said. She said some really great things about me in post-fight interviews. So nothing but respect. I really could not say one bad thing about her. Like, what she does in her own business is her own business. But if she wants to, do some low blows or say bad shit about me, it's just an easy thing. Like, don't throw stones when you live in a glass house, because that's naturally what's going to come up. But honestly, at the end of the day, I really think they're less. Like, she's a nice person in my book.
Now, if you go back into boxing, who would you like to fight?
Oh man, the list is forever. I would love to fight Amanda Serrano. I feel like, to me, I always wonder, because she's like the best of the best. Like, how do I compare against the best boxer? I always meant this in the respect, but honestly, who I like, my ultimate fangirl like moment, who I think is like the best and greatest, is Heather Hardy. And I don't want to fight her because she's like my favorite, but it was like funny because when Amanda Serrano beat her, I was like, oh, that bitch. Like, how dare you beat Heather Hardy? Like, that's my female boxing hero and icon. So it's like, I don't really want to necessarily fight my icon, even though it's kind of cool, because like, how do I match up against someone I think is the greatest? But now it's like, well, I want to help her out and beat the girl who beat her. I want the redemption. I feel like I beat Jamie Mitchell. It was a draw. I feel like I murdered Sharetta Metcalf, and that loss pisses me off. So I love that. Alycia Baumgardner, I fought at 135. Stupid. I was naive, and obviously
I was like, you're not even 135. Especially if you didn't have that many fights under your belt. I love Alycia. Like, we have her on our show all the time. And for you to go up to 135 and you never fought at that weight.
Yeah, like, here's a little secret. I wore exactly what I'm wearing now, a hoodie and sweatpants, and I put water bottles in my pants so I would make the weight on the scale. Because again, I was just determined. Like, and now I think about it, oh my God, what was wrong with me? I would never do that now.
Wait a minute. You didn't have to strip off?
No.
Where did you fight? What state? What commission was this? Wow, this is wild.
No, see, I'm gonna get in trouble. They're gonna ban me, and boxing's gonna hate me all over again. So I'm not telling you where, but it happened. It happened. Boxing, I've seen it myself. Boxing has changed a lot since I've started. Like, some of the things we used to do, there's all those little trickeries. I don't know if I should say, but if you're in boxing and it was before 2018, what the tricks were. That was one of them. They'd bring these guys in and, like, just get these last minute fights or help their fighter out. And they'd bring someone underweight and promise them this and that. And they would put the water bottles in the thing. Coaches would step on the scale to make it tip up a little bit. I've seen it. And so the commission might have not seen it, but the coaches know what they were doing. They know what.
Did they? I mean, you can disclose this, and you don't have to say any fight that you've ever fought. The promoter or your coach ever said you need to throw your fight in order for the other person to win?
No, I can honestly say in all my life, I've never been asked, approached, or anything like that. I've never have. And I've only heard 2 stories where it was said that way through hearsay, and I didn't really believe it. I really didn't. I think that some people do throw the fight in the aspect of they throw it themselves. So it's between them and God. Like they go in, they say, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna beat this guy," but they know they're not about that life, and they go in and they get barely hit and they fall down and they're like, "Oh, oh, it hurts." I've seen that a lot, but I don't think it was from someone asking them
Mhm.
or I don't think that at all. I literally think it's just people that pretend to be a fighter and then just want that paycheck and don't want to take any of the hard work, any of the damage, and they'll just pretend it hurts and get out of there, take their paycheck and go home. I've seen that happen, but never a throne, never that.
But I love seeing you in the ring. You were such a pleasure watching because I saw your fight live. Well, when it aired with Paige VanZant, and I remember I interviewed Christine Faria, my co-host, and I when she was fighting you. So
Oh,
it's how weird how we've come full circle. But yeah, she's one tough cookie. My God, she is one feisty one. But you guys I would love to run it back because the women, you guys all have to fight. Eventually, I know some of you ladies are going to come into boxing. Some of the ladies in boxing are going, they do PFL like Carissa Shields, Amanda Serrano, Heather Hardy. She's looking to go back maybe one last time in MMA. So you guys all have to mix it up because you guys, women fight harder than the men. They have better fights than the men because they have more to prove. And we all know this. I read this quote that you said, you use boxing as therapy. You used it to shut out reality. Boxing saved me. I feel like I was able to fight back for a life that I wanted. I had real money problems, and this was a way for me to make money. So that's the reason why you went pro. The majority of the fighters or any athlete that's in combat sports, it's always that sport saved me. And it's beautiful to hear that boxing saved you because you needed to get out of what you were into, and look at where it has taken you now.
dang, I know. It's like hearing it. The power of words. It's like when it's something that's real, it hits a little bit different. But I don't think a lot of people really know how much it really did. Because still, like, a lot of things we can't talk about and say, but it did. It did. So I'm glad to hear it and know that, wow, I'm really.
One thing it made me happy. I mean, I'm a mom now, but you were bullied as a kid, and I think you grew up in Germany, or yeah, you spoke German, and
Yeah.
then you moved to Virginia, and people bullied you because you were quote unquote different. And then all of a sudden, you were the one punching the bullies, and you were the one defending. And
Yeah.
I love that. And that's I think that's you already had a calling. You just didn't know it. You were already punching with bare fist.
Exactly. I
Just
tell
saying.
you that all the time.
All right. So, and I just want to say that you are going to be fighting Saturday, September 29th in Virginia, technically your home state. That's going to be fun. It will be like a homecoming. And you also have, which is weird, I've never seen a fighter with two bouts already. You're going to be fighting in Thailand. So the first one is for BKFC 51 against Melanie Shah in Virginia. And the second fight is in Thailand, BKFC Thailand 5. Chisakan, I'm so sorry if I'm butchering your name. Chisakan Pipat. There, I'll just write it in the lowercase. And so when is that fight?
So it is right. You're right. That is very weird and unusual. But if you're Britain Hart, you do weird, unusual things. So it makes sense for me. But it is wild. So I honestly can't believe I'm doing it. But it's November 4th in Thailand, and I heard it's against a girl named Po Denham. So I don't know if they shorten her name, and that's just like an easier, way to say it. That's like a real legal name. But anyways, they presented it to me, and I was like, whoa, I got a fight on the 29th. They're like, yeah, after that. And I was like, you never know. Cuts happen, things happen. And they're like, don't worry. And you know what? I'm just going into it, the manifesting it. I'm going to go in. I'm going to knock this girl out on the 29th. I'm going to get no damage so I can go over to Thailand and really be legendary then and have kind of another Paige VanZant moment. Because as we've talked about, you don't go into people's backyards and come back victorious.
Do you have a nickname?
No, I did. And then now it's kind of like lost its point. But people see like it would be like Heart 2.0, 3.0. It wasn't for the fights. It was really for the evolution. And like you said, and everybody can testify to, it's not me making things up. I honestly just evolved too fast. Like I didn't mean to evolve that fast. So every fight people were just giving, I was like, whoa, chill out. I'm going to run out of numbers. Like, I don't have that number anymore.
It's all
And
0.25.
yeah, like I needed to do that. So before I knew it, I was like 8.0. And I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And now I don't even know what number I'm at. I honestly, I feel like nicknames are given and earned. So I just let people, I'm Britain Hart. I'm always Britain Hart. I've been Britain Hart for, since day one. Whatever anybody else wants to call me, as long as it's good and positive, we'll roll with it. So, I'm like, yeah, I don't know, the hit girl, bad girl, the baddest of them all. So, but we'll wait until someone gives me one that I earned.
Yeah, that's very true. Well, Britain Hart, I appreciate your time. You are such a lovely lady. Like your story was so fast. I've written notes, but I mean, look at this. It was amazing. And you're just one of those ladies out there that it can show anyone, all the little girls out there, that don't worry, you know what, if things are happening to you, you could be another Britain Hart and you can be somebody. Just don't give up. That's all that matters. But Britain, I appreciate your time. Best of luck to you September 29th. Tell Dave Feldman I said hello. I want to see a knock. I love knockouts. I mean, you're already bloody, but I love a knockout, and it does really cringe hurt when I see those knuckles hurting. But good luck to you and take care.
Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to it. We'll hopefully chit chat again after Thailand. What's next?
Oh, yeah, I can't wait. All right, guys. Well, that's another one in the can for me. Britain Hart fights September 29th in Virginia, and then also November 4th in Thailand for BKFC Thailand 5 and BKFC 51 Saturday. So make sure you tune in. And if you don't know who she is, go watch her tape on Paige VanZant, Christine Falria. Well, that was a nasty fight. Even just if not, just watch her weigh-ins. They're so wild. They're so wild. I've never seen anything like that. The girl was twerking on you. I remember that she just bent over her ass. I'm like, okay, so weird.
Wow.
All right, guys. Again, I'm Cynthia Conte for Best Women's Boxing Show. Period. See you guys at the fights. Bye, guys.